everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Zora from Jesu, and it's a pleasure to be here again today. New subscriber, welcome. If you landed on my page anyhow, thank you so much for being here. I value everyone here. For people that have been here before and you that are just coming in, we would love that you subscribe and be part of us. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. Thanks for all the love and thanks for sticking around and watching my videos. Yeah, good news. So I passed my drive test and I feel so excited. Like, I don't know why I was just, procrastinating about it, about doing it for so long, right? It was due for me to do like January, but I was just like, but eventually I did it and I was really excited I did. I've been talking about people getting their licenses. I've gotten my G1 and then my G2. I will get my full G in a year time because I didn't come with my extract. So if you're coming from Nigeria, it's always advisable that you actually come with your drive extract so that you can skip the wait period of having to wait to write your exam, because from your G1 to your G2 it's 8 months to 1 year, right? 8 months if you're going to get a certificate, if you're going to get a driving school to get a certificate that you actually went to driving school. But for 1 year you really won't have to do that. Well, after 1 year, you don't have to get a certificate that you went to driving school per se. So and then from your G2, after you pass your full G is another 1 year. So they believe that within that 1 year you start practice, and then when you're coming back, you just go straight to get fully licensed. I mean, that's the standard for Ontario full license. So there are a couple of tips. I got an instructor, which is of essence. I mean, regardless of you be driving, like a bad driver where you're coming from, you need to get an instructor. And why is that? Because for me, there were a lot of things I do that I didn't know this was what it was called, and several things that the examiner might ask you, and then you might get lost, like, what does this mean? Not because you don't know it, but because the term that is being used for it to right here is different. So I'm going to give you a few tips. Like, this does not say you shouldn't get an instructor, but this is a tip to help you. I mean, if you come in with an international license, you are able to drive for a period of time, or if you're on your G1 and you're practicing with someone beside you, I mean, these things can help you to prepare ahead so that you have less work to do when your instructor actually comes on board. So this is how the instructor works. You book a session for an instructor to test your drive ability. That usually in where I stay is usually between $40 to $45 an hour. The instructor picks you from your location and then you drive, and the instructor gives you some instructions and then tells you, oh, this is where you're lacking. So when I did mine, I only did one session, which was really, the guy said I'm actually okay, that I don't need to book extra sessions, but that on the day of the exam, we're just gonna go around again and then just like a refresher, right? So that's a really that's a really good for me. So that really helped me as well. So I only paid for one session and he said I was good. So these are the things he mentioned to me when we were practicing. Firstly, I mean, it's not like it's sequence, right? I just put them together. You can just start being conscious of these things. So when my examiner came into the car, he read a couple of instructions for me. He asked if I was using glasses and all those things, told me what to do, blah blah blah, and started giving me instructions. So these things are things that my instructor has also mentioned to me. My instructor is an Ontario certified instructor. He also mentioned all these things to me, and I practiced them before the exam that very morning, and then of course when I had the 1 hour session with him. Now, your both hands must be on your steering wheel, and it must be on 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. At no point should your hand be off the steering for more than 3 seconds. Like, maybe you scratch your hair, put it back. Don't hold. I'm fond of, sincerely it was hard, I'm fond of holding my steering like this, just moving like this. Don't do that. It must be on 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock simultaneously. And when your instructor, you must have been in the car with your seatbelt on. When your examiner comes in, he introduces himself. He tells you to test the signals, and then it tells you to press the brake, the accelerator. It tells you to press your horn. It tests everything before you start, right? And then it comes into the car and then it reads that same instruction to you, and it tells you, please don't just glance, move your head. So it tells you a couple of things. Some of them are really nice and welcoming, some with their face go fear, but you know, with God's favor. So then it says you may drive if it's safe. So my instructor mentioned one thing. It's my instructor and my examiner, the different examiner was for the day of the exam, instructor was one I had, right? So the examiner would say drive when it's safe. So the first thing you want to do is to signal. Like when you're about to move, I don't do that before when I'm driving. I never knew that that was very important, right? So you signal and then you start moving. Now, especially when you're hitting a road, he said you should make sure to pick up the pace of the speed limit where you are within the first 5 seconds of moving into the road, and ensure to adhere to speed limit. Don't go over. If it's 40, don't go over 40. Try to maintain. Even if you go to 41, try to just, slow down a bit and just make sure that you're not slow and that you're not too fast. Usually there are 2 speed limits for the G2 exam, which is 40, which is for residential, and then 60 for the community driving. Now, always stay to the right when you're driving. So peradventure you're coming out of a road and you have to turn to your left. By the time you turn in, make sure you move back to the right. He said that although some instructors are lenient enough to tell you may move to the right, but you should know that you should drive to the right? So it said I should move to the right. It didn't. My examiner didn't have to tell me. Immediately I moved to the right because my instructor already told me that. Now ensure to check your mirrors every 10 seconds. And ensure to move your head so that it's seen that you're actually moving. So all those videos that you see people doing like this is actually true. Although of course there's a bit of sarcasm in it, but it's of essence that you actually turn your head to the left and to the right. Now number 4, that's number 4, right? Number 5, now when you approach an intersection, if it is two-sided, ensure to move your head left and right for observation. Observe. Now if your intersection is just one-sided, just look to the right and then you keep moving. Now when you see a stop sign, ensure to stop before the walkway. You don't necessarily have to stop when you see the stop sign, because some stop signs are not on the road. But when you see a stop sign, stop before the walkway and then observe and be sure it is safe before you move. And now at every stop and every traffic light, make sure your speedometer is on 0. And honestly, I was really keen on this one, so I was like pressing my brake, and that was the only thing my examiner said after I finished. When he said, "Oh, congratulations," he said, "But be gentle with the stop, but be gentle with your brakes." That I was too hard on the brake. I really didn't want to pass 0 km/h. So like when I'm approaching my red traffic light, I'm like, I'll slow down. But I mean, if I don't see 0, I just pull my leg to that guy. You have to be on 0. That was funny, right? So, but always make sure it's on 0. Now, when you approach a 4-way stop, observe before you move. And of course, we know 4-way stops is usually the first person that gets there and stops that goes first. So note that. But when I was driving, guess what? I saw someone passing, the pedestrian passing by. Honestly, I had to wait. So my instructor told me, make sure the pedestrian has crossed over completely. Don't think that, oh, there's road for me, at least the person already passed over. No. Wait till the passover. This was why one of my friends actually failed our exam. So, yes. So do not move in any direction when a pedestrian is actually, crossing. Now, you'll be asked to pull over when you see, when it's safe, right? So pull over nicely. At that point, it might ask you to do a uphill or downhill parking. So uphill parking is like turning your wheels like all the way to the left, and then the downhill turning all the way. Said there are more chances of asking you to do a uphill parking, but peradventure it says downhill, you turn your wheels all the way to the right. That is for uphill and downhill parking. Then ensure to pull over nicely, and then when you do that turning, make sure you pull your gear to park. And when it asks to move, make sure to return the steering back and move across signal, and then move when it's safe. Now, if you see the car ahead, it might tell you to do parallel parking. Simply parallel parking. I don't know if everybody knows it, but I learned this because I used to think parallel parking was like just parking when we're in the parking lots. But he said mirror to door is always easy, and then if you have a camera, you turn your wheels all the way to the left, and then you move. As you're moving, you're looking back. Don't look at your camera, but you can take a glance at the camera to be sure. So when the last red line hits the crack on the covert, then you turn your hand all the way back and you're aligned. Now, the distance between you and that car should be so much that you can see the legs of the two legs of the car. Even when you're driving on the road, the distance between you and the car in front of you must be that you can see the two tires of the car in front of you. And when it asks you to move, for example, if you're trying to make a turn to the right, to the left, it is mirror, signal, and blind spot. And make sure to move your head. Mirror, you signal, and then you blind spot to be sure that it's safe for you to go before you go. Once it says, oh, at the next turning, at the next intersection, turn right. Mirror, signal, and then blind spot. Do it as often and check both sides to be sure that it's safe for you to go, because it says all those points are being deducted. Now, when you're at a buffer, for example, you're approaching a road and then you're the one turning left and the light is on green but not the green for you to go, you should move forward to the middle of the road so that when the light turns red, you are still able to go in your direction. So, likewise, they will ask you to make a 3-point turn in the middle of the road. If you see, it's 3 points, or when you make a 3-point turn, when you're turning back, you make sure to look at the mirror on the side of the examiner to be sure that it is still safe. I hope nobody's coming, that kind of thing. So, I mean, these are the key things they mentioned to me, and they were really, really helpful for me to pass in my exam. I mean, the guy was like, oh, today you've passed by the ministry standard, blah blah blah, and it was really, really good. And I was really excited because they made it so seamless. They said it was going to be up like 20 minutes, but I don't think I spent more than 10 minutes driving, and I was back, so it just told me, okay, now we can go back to start. So another thing is, until you get back to the drive test center, you have to obey all these rules. Don't think that, oh, I already passed the drive test location. Until you get back to the center and it tells you to pull over and it gets down and says go and upgrade your license, don't be tempted. Don't be tempted to. But my friend said it was when she was coming back that she saw a pedestrian, like, oh, the pedestrian is too far away, let her quickly go. Don't be tempted, okay? So I hope this tips is going to help you in your driving, in your day-to-day driving, as you prepare to write your exam, and I wish you all the best. I hope they are really helpful. If you have other ideas that could be really helpful to people on here, please drop them in the comment section. It's always nice to be here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.